Big dog? Big dog? 220, boy.
Boogity, 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 boys. Let's go racing. Yow! Welcome to the inaugural Salty Acres Motocross Airbnb Staggered Start Sprint Race Challenge on MX1, one of the 3 main motocross tracks out here. A lot of motocross tracks and trails out here. As you see, a staggered start. James taking off. When he gets to that first roller, Chris now going to take off. When he gets to that first roller, Josiah's going to take off. I'm going to take off when he gets to the roller. Yanar's going to take off when he gets to the roller. Ethan's going to take off after him, then Ty Edmondson in last. This concept came from when I used to teach BMX racing clinics. I raced BMX for 2 decades. I ran some clinics, and at the end of most clinics, we'd always do a staggered start race. And these races are so much fun. The hard part of doing these races is ranking yourself amongst your buddies, who's the slowest, who's the fastest, because you start slowest first, fastest last. I started in the middle. But what's so beautiful about these races is as the race progresses, the first place rider will fall back towards the middle, the last place rider will move up towards the front. You end up with some awesome racing contact. As you can see here, Josiah's already caught Chris closing in on James. I'm sitting in on the 4th slot, and I can hear the boys pulling up close behind me too. Gonna try to make one of my first moves here. That berm on the outside's so juicy, I decided to cut down inside. Didn't think they would. They wouldn't. And one of the best things about this, that's a prime example where I went outside, inside, and I typically always go outside, outside just because it's smoother. Racing forces you, absolutely forces you to adopt some different lines on track. No, I'm going to go outside here the first 2 laps. And it's only lap 2, we're already piled up on top of each other real heavy as promised. All the boys in the pack right here, some juicy race in action. Sitting second after the twofer on the finish line straight, but I can hear and feel a whole lot of fast dudes right behind me. A lot of fun out here racing with some of my best friends. Very stoked to get the opportunity to ride Salty Acres Motocross Airbnb, one of the sickest Airbnbs on the planet. 60 acres of land to ride, multiple tracks, trails, freestyle motocross ramp, and beautiful lake. Go paddleboarding. I want to give a shout out to my dog Chris Hamlick, currently sitting in the 1 spot just ahead of me. Dude just came back from a pretty serious injury. Ethan Bischoff pushing it around the outside, looking back, cutting over on me, pushing for the 1 slot. Another good example of opening up new lines out here. I see the guy who's potentially going to win it all, cut to the inside there, found a new line. Chris dropped it over in the corner while we were 3 wide in there. But shout out to Chris. First day, second day maybe, really back on the bike after injury. Jumped in on the action, and I can see that now Ty Edmondson pulling up close to me too. He was the last place rider as the race started. This is a super fun track. Love this little, it's pretty deep, kind of woodsy section there. Small double, one of the juiciest berms anywhere right here. Grab a whole fistful of throttle, comfortably exiting that one. Then we're heading into the more sandy section. You'll notice I'm approaching this corner with caution, deep sand. You can kind of see the ruts there. Loving this little inside line. Ethan showed me the inside line after this section. Still going to go outside anyway, though, apparently. Sometimes it's about comfort, sometimes it's about speed. You can hit the outside every time comfortably, even if it's a little bit slower. Might be slower than trying to push the inside and crashing, tipping over or whatever. But I got the boys hot on my tail. Yanar is right behind me, see him jumping the table to my left. There's Ty closing in, going on the inside there. I know he's going to be pushing real hard. Gave himself a huge handicap. Started way behind the rest of us, but he's raced Supercross Futures before. It was actually next before it was called Futures, but the boy Ty Edmondson, super fast rider, and I know he's going to be closing in on me sooner rather than later as we go over the finish line back towards this big juicy sand corner. Yep, one of my local tracks, Jimmy Weinert's training facility in Maysville, North Carolina, owned by the iconic and legendary Jimmy Weinert himself, AMA, Motocross Hall of Fame, a celebrated rider with national titles. I asked him about riding in the sand. He watched me a little bit and I asked him for some advice. He told me, Jimmy Weinert told me to never clutch. And that's what we're trying to do out here, is to try to stay on the throttle at all times. The throttle is what keeps you going forward and upright. And the only hard part about never clutching on a track like this, the tight corners, especially entering them, trying to not clutch and also not stall. But if you made it this far in the video, I promise you, just focus on trying to not clutch when you're in this deep sand. You'll see a lot of improvement really quick. And pretty cool, we got some dual footage lined up here, as you'll see. Boys coming over the finish line, jump there right behind me. That's Ty catching up to Yanar. Them boys are battling just a couple of seconds behind me, and to be sure, I know they're coming. I'm going to have to try to make a move on Josiah here. I unfortunately followed him into the inside, thinking I might be able to use that to make a pass. He went inside, almost stalled it, stalls it here, and as you can tell, Ty and Yanar battling right behind me, and they are absolutely coming as we close in towards the 7th and final lap. And we got Ethan Bischoff coming over the finish line here, turning into his last lap. He's developed a healthy lead on me. So I hit the final corner here. You see Ty Edmondson has joined the party. He's right on my tail for the last lap of the main event out here at the Inaugural. Salty Acres, Motocross Airbnb Sprint Challenge on MX1 Staggered start. Ty Edmondson pushing around to the outside. I know he's right there. I'm trying to keep him off. Absolute brain fart here. I push it to the outside. He goes inside on me. Locks it up, pushes to the inside again. I turn around and oh no, Ty is on the ground. That's going to be the story of how your boy walks it on in for the 2nd place position. Shout out to my boy Ethan Bischoff taking the win in the Inaugural Staggered Start Sprint Challenge. I'll go ahead and take the 2 slot. I might need to make trophies for the next race. And it is pretty cool now that we've ran one. We can just organize ourselves based on the results of this one. Try to have some more good fun and honest battles in the future. Ty Edmondson sliding in for the 3 slot. Gonna finish out our podium, and that's it for MX1. We're gonna slide on over to MX3, one of the bigger tracks. Oh yeah, good job, bro. Good job, dude.
I see Ty eating it on the first lap.
You crashed twice?
3 times.
Yeah.
And I got ran off the track.
Twice in the same corner.
Yeah, that was an absolute blast. I highly encourage you guys, link up with the boys and battle, even on a practice day, nothing going on. I mean, yeah, it's fun to throw fat whips all day, but no better way to simulate racing than to just go race. And I think it was nothing but smiles and good vibes after that one. Really, again, it's not about the position you get, it's about experimenting with line choices and getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Racing motocross, you're going to be in uncomfortable positions every single lap. And are you going to freak out or are you going to push harder? And that's one of the things you'll learn there. I think one of the things we talked about afterwards, I believe to be absolutely true, is it's pretty easy to ride a dirt bike once you get comfortable. I mean, like I'm sitting out here having fun with my boy Ethan on MX3. I feel like I can churn laps out all day without thinking too hard about it. As soon as you start racing though, all that stuff goes to the wayside. So intense, there's so much going on, and not all of it's within your control. So yep, and this MX3 track, super. I've actually started calling this track Pocono personally because it is kind of a big triangle with 3 distinct turns. However, there is an alternate route on this track that makes it a lot longer. I actually didn't crash on that this day. Fortunately, after tearing my quadricep and then falling on it 2 months after the injury, where I was told I should probably take 3 or 4 months off the bike, didn't damage it further. Obviously feeling and looking pretty comfortable out here. But I'm just going to rip a couple of more laps on MX3 with my boy Ethan. As always, I appreciate y'all tuning into the video. Look forward to pumping out some more content for y'all very, very soon. This jump's massive, y'all. That jump is huge. But I really appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all soon. Until then, peace. Yo.
Hell yeah.